Ever feel guilty for avoiding parties or building routines you never follow? Some claim these strange habits point to a high-functioning mind. Experts are noticing the patterns, and they're not what you'd expect. Stick around and smash that subscribe button if one of these flaws sounds suspiciously like you. You know that person who eats the same thing every single day? Chicken and rice, over and over. It seems boring, right? But here's the twist. It might actually be brilliant. Some of the most efficient minds in history figured out that tiny decisions, like what to eat, use up mental energy. And that energy, they'd rather spend it solving complex problems, creating new things, or building ideas that actually matter. There's a name for this: decision fatigue. The more choices you make throughout the day, the harder it becomes to make good ones. So by cutting out the what's for lunch dilemma, they preserve their brain power for things that count. It's not about being boring, it's about being smart with your energy. So next time you see someone eating the same thing for the 5th day in a row, maybe don't judge too fast. They might just be thinking 10 steps ahead of the rest of us. Creating life systems you never use. Ever built an entire productivity system? Sticky notes, habit trackers, fancy apps, motivational playlists, and then never used any of it? Don't worry, you're not alone. Highly analytical thinkers often get a real mental thrill from building systems. The logic, the structure, the planning, it's like giving their brain a playground. But when it comes time to actually use the system, that's where it falls apart. Why? Because the excitement wasn't in the doing, it was in the design. It's like being a brilliant architect who never quite moves into the house they just built. So if your digital planner looks like it belongs in a museum, but your actual life is running on vibes and caffeine, you're not a failure. You're just wired to create the blueprint, not necessarily follow it. Needing alone time after socializing. You go to a gathering, smile, nod, talk, and by the time you get home, you feel like someone drained your battery with a straw. Sound familiar? People with high cognitive processing often experience social interactions more intensely. They notice the little shifts in tone, the unspoken signals, the subtle expressions. And all that input? It's exhausting. While others might leave a party energized, your brain leaves with a full inbox to sort through. You don't hate people, you just need time to reboot. And studies back this up. Many intelligent individuals report feeling less satisfied the more they socialize. Not because they're antisocial, but because they prefer time to reflect, process, and create. So if your favorite part of a party is leaving it, you're not rude. Your mind just needs space to breathe. Staying up late for no clear reason. You look at the clock. It's 1:43 a.m. You're not tired. In fact, you feel creative, inspired, focused. Strange, right? Research has shown that people who stay up later often demonstrate higher levels of abstract thinking and problem solving. It's not that they choose to be awake late, it's that their brains don't switch off when the sun goes down. Late night quiet can unlock a kind of mental clarity that's hard to find during the noise of the day. You're not just lying in bed scrolling, you're replaying conversations, forming ideas, connecting dots. So while the rest of the world winds down, your mind winds up. And that's not a flaw. It might just be your creative superpower coming alive when everything else goes silent. Getting bored with small talk. You're in line, someone starts chatting about the weather, and you feel your brain slowly shutting down. It's not that you dislike people, it's that your mind wants more. Highly intelligent people often crave conversations that have depth, purpose, direction. Not just, is it going to rain today? But why the weather's been changing, how it connects to patterns, what it means long term. This isn't about being cold, it's about being curious. You want ideas, not updates. Concepts, not chit-chat. So next time you find yourself tuning out of a surface-level chat, don't feel bad. It's not you being standoffish. It's just your brain reaching for something deeper. Procrastinating, then thriving under pressure. You had days, maybe weeks, but the project, you didn't start it until the night before. And still nailed it. What looks like procrastination is often something else. Delayed engagement until there's just enough pressure to unlock focus. High-functioning minds sometimes struggle to lock in until the stakes are high enough to drown out all distractions. That ticking clock, it forces everything else into silence. Suddenly, the path is clear. The ideas flow. It's not about laziness, it's about urgency as a mental filter. So if your best work shows up just in time, don't panic. That pressure might be the very thing that helps you find your edge. Making jokes. Nobody gets, you make a clever joke. It's layered, maybe a little nerdy, and the room goes quiet. awkward. But here's the thing. Research has shown that people with high intelligence often prefer humor that's subtle, conceptual, or based on wordplay and references. It's not that your jokes aren't funny, it's that they fly a little higher than most conversations are cruising. You're not trying to show off, you're just amused by things others might miss. And that's okay. The right people will get it. And until then, keep laughing anyway. Humor is how smart minds play. Feeling socially awkward without knowing why. You've practiced what to say, gone over it in your head. But when the moment comes, something still feels off. Maybe your handshake lasted too long. Maybe you said "you too" when someone told you to enjoy your meal. You walk away replaying it all like a director watching a blooper reel. This isn't a social flaw, it's over-processing. People with high mental activity often replay interactions, not because they were bad, but because their brain wants to optimize everything, even human connection. Einstein struggled with social norms. Newton avoided most of them altogether. So if small talk feels like a performance and handshakes feel like boss battles, you're not broken. You're just running too many tabs in your head. Always questioning everything. Someone tells you how things are and your first instinct is, but why? You're not being difficult. You just don't accept answers without understanding them. This kind of thinking is actually a strong indicator of intelligence. Rather than needing closure, your brain is wired to seek comprehension, even if it means sitting with uncertainty a little longer. Smart people often challenge norms, question authority, and even debate themselves. They're not trying to be right, they're trying to understand. So if you ask why more than most people are comfortable with, keep going. That's how new ideas are born. Ignoring instructions and figuring things out yourself. You get a new gadget or a piece of furniture, and instead of reading the instructions, you dive in. You want to figure it out yourself. That urge? That's curiosity in action. People with higher intelligence often prefer exploring firsthand. Testing, breaking, rebuilding. Not because they don't trust others, but because their brain wants to see how it all works. This trait is called need for cognition. It means thinking itself is rewarding to you. Even if it takes longer, the process brings clarity. So if you've ever ignored the manual and trusted your instincts, you're not reckless. You're a thinker in motion. Getting emotionally attached to objects. You bump into a chair, say, sorry, or feel weird throwing away an old pair of sneakers because, well, they've been through a lot with you. Sound silly? Not at all. This habit is linked to something called anthropomorphism, giving human-like emotions to objects. And believe it or not, it's a sign of empathy and emotional intelligence. You're not overreacting, you're recognizing connection in unexpected places. It's the same part of you that sees meaning in moments, patterns in chaos, personality in the ordinary. So if you've ever named your plant or apologized to your coffee mug, you're not weird. You just feel more than most. So maybe your so-called weird habits, your late nights, deep thoughts, social fumbles, and quiet quirks aren't flaws at all. Maybe they're signs, clues, indicators that your mind works in a way the world doesn't always understand. And that's okay, because intelligence doesn't always show up in neat little boxes. Sometimes it looks like forgetting your planner, but redesigning the system. Sometimes it looks like zoning out during small talk, and zoning in when the ideas start flowing. So here's the question. Which of these strange habits do you recognize in yourself? Drop your answers in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories. And if this video made you feel seen, you're going to love what we've got coming next. Click here for more surprising signs that your quirks might just be your quiet strengths in disguise. See you in the next one.